Hello friends, welcome to my channel English Vocabulary with Mahfoud. Today's vocabulary will be very interesting because we will talk about another type of vocabularies, that is grammar vocabulary. In the grammar of today we will talk about the present tenses. And present tenses are very important in grammar because it helps us to talk about present, and we will of course see many differences of course in this episode about the present in terms of meaning, types, structure, and usages. But first, let's start with the meaning. So, what is present? Okay, so if we see it in a timeline, of course, it will be easier for us to identify what is the present exactly. So, we have the past, present, that is now, and future. So the past is anything happened before the present. Okay, so past is always before present. And present is a period of time that is representing now, and it's in the middle, of course. And what will happen is called future. So anything that happen or anything that come after the present is called future. I hope it's easier for you through this timeline. So we have many types, of course, of present. The first one is simple present. You might know present simple as well, and both are correct. Okay, simple present and present simple, you can use which one you want. The same case of the present continuous is the present progressive. So the present progressive is also called present continuous. Okay, this is the second type. The third type is present perfect, and the fourth one is present perfect continuous. So we're still with the meaning, but now let's identify the present. So present is a tense like simple future, simple past, past perfect, etc., which talks about actions that happen in the present time, that is now. So we have types of present, we have seen them in the beginning. So the first one is the simple present, the second is the present continuous, and the third is present perfect, and the last one is present perfect continuous. Okay, so we call these in English tenses. Okay, so remember that. So now we will talk about the structure. So in the structure in English in general, we have the affirmative and the negative. Okay, so affirmative is called as well positive form, so positive. So the first tense we will see is simple present. Okay, so let's see the affirmative or the positive form and the negative form of the simple present. So I eat, I don't eat. This is the negative form. So I eat is a affirmative or positive form, and I don't eat is the negative form. He, she, eats. This is the affirmative form, and he, she, it doesn't eat is a negative form. You, we, thee eat. This is the affirmative. You, we, thee don't eat. This is the negative. Note, we used to do auxiliary to make the negative form with all verbs except the verb to be. Okay, so if we want to make the negative form with all verbs, we have to use the verb to do. Okay, plus not, of course, to make the negative form, except the verb to be. Because to be has another rule. We will see this in the videos which will come. Now let's talk about the usage. Okay, so we use the present simple with habits, timetables, and facts, and with some adverbs like always, often, usually, every Monday, etc. So habits are things that we do regularly, we do every day. Okay, and facts are general truths that people know about. Okay, and people agree upon. Let's see examples, of course, to know more about the usage of the present simple. Example, she doesn't eat fish. Okay, this is a habit of a certain woman. She doesn't eat fish. Okay, this is a habit. Okay, for her. The moon is white. Of course, the moon is white. But the moon is not is not blue. Is not black. So it's a fact. The moon is white. So this is a fact. So we use a simple present to state a fact. I go to school every week. Again, we talked about the adverbs like always, often, usually, every Monday. All these adverbs help us to use the simple present. Like I go to school every week, as is shown in this example. So every is an indicator, is an adverb that help us to use the simple present, of course. And in general, adverbs help us to choose the right tense. Okay, adverbs play a big role in English. Now let's move on to a structure with another, of course, type of present, that is present continuous. Okay, so the positive form is I am eating, I am not eating. This is the negative form, and you have to take a notice here. We use the present. We use to be auxiliary to make the continuous form. Okay, so the continuous form to be must be included in all tenses. He, she, it is eating. This is the positive form. He, she, it is not eating. This is the negative form. You, we, they are eating. You, we, they are not eating. This is the negative form. There is a note here I would like to mention. The ing form is important in all continuous tenses. Okay, so to be auxiliary is important along with the ing at the end of the verb to make the continuous tense. Now let's move on to the usage. So we use the present continuous with long actions which are happening now. So long actions are verbs. So verbs that are very active. Okay, so it shows that something is long at that moment in present. And with some adverbs. As I told you, adverbs help us to pick up or to choose the right tense, as it is shown here. Adverbs like now, at the moment, for the time being, etc. All these adverbs help us to choose the right tense in English. Let's see examples, of course, to know more about the present continuous. Example: Mom, I am studying now. Okay, so I am studying now. Study, to study, is a verb that is active. So study, most of the time, it represents a long action. Okay, and now is an indicator to talk about the present continuous. Okay. The second, he is not watching TV at the moment. At the moment as well is an indicator to use the present continuous. And as you can see here, we use he is not, okay, in the negative form, not in the negative form to show the negation. Okay. The third, they are enjoying their time in the garden. Okay, so we talk about the present continuous, and enjoy again is a verb that is active, which shows a long actions that is going on in the present time. And now let's see another present, another structure, of course, that is the present perfect. Okay, we will see the positive and the negative form of it. I have eaten. This is the positive form. I haven't eaten. This is the negative form. Second, he, she, it has eaten. This is the positive or the affirmative form, and the negative form is he, she, it hasn't eaten. Okay. The last one is you, we, they have eaten. This is the affirmative form. You, we, they haven't eaten. This is the negative form. And you have to remember something. To have auxiliary must be included in all perfect tenses in English, including the present perfect. There is a note here I would like to shed light on and to get your attention to it. So in English there are two types of verbs, regular and irregular verbs. Regular takes simply ed at the end of the verb, and irregular takes another form like en, as in eaten, spoken, etc. So regular verbs in English take the ed at the end, okay, and the irregular take another form. It could be en and other forms. We shall see them in the next videos. Now let's move on to the usage of how we can use the present perfect. Okay. So the present perfect can be used to talk about experiences without mentioning the time, and with some adverbs, of course, like for, since, just, ever, recently, yet, etc. So the first one, to talk about experiences without mentioning the time. Present perfect, of course, talks about something that happened in the past, but it's just an experience, and we cannot just mention the time. If we mention the time, it could be wrong, and it will be considered wrong, of course. And adverbs, as I told you before, adverbs help us to identify and choose which tense is in the right context. Let's see examples, of course, to know more about the present perfect. So, example, I have been to Germany. Okay, as I told you, this is an experience that someone, or me, it could be me, why not? I've been to Germany. Okay, so this is just an experience. So if I mention a time, if I said I have been to Germany last year, it will be wrong. Okay, it will be wrong, and it will be no more an experience using the present perfect as a right tense for it. Okay. Second, she hasn't done anything wrong. Okay, she hasn't done anything wrong. The last one, they have worked hard today. They have worked hard today. I may mention today, but I didn't mention a specific time at that day. That is today. Okay, so it's an experience happened for the whole day, but I didn't mention that, of course, the specific time at that day. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to another present with another structure. This type of present is called present perfect continuous. Okay, so we have to see the structure first to talk about the two auxiliaries. Okay, so the first structure is I have been eating. I have been eating. This is the affirmative form. I haven't been eating. I haven't been eating. This is the negative form. So two auxiliaries are used here in this present perfect continuous. Okay, so the to be auxiliary is for the ing. Okay, so it's for the continuous form. I'm sorry, it's for the continuous form. Okay, and the auxiliary to have is for the perfect form. Okay, so perfect must all perfect tenses you have to use the to have auxiliary, and all the continuous tenses you have to use to be auxiliary. Okay, and in this case we have the two, so present perfect continuous, so we have to use to be and to have auxiliaries. Second, he, she, it has been eating. This is the affirmative form, and the negative form is he, she, it hasn't been eating. The last one, you, we, they have been eating. This is the affirmative. You, we, they haven't been eating. This is the negative form. Now let's talk about the usage of the present perfect continuous. So we use it to talk about long actions started in the past and it is still going on now. Okay, and we use it with some adverbs like for, since, etc. So we talk about present continuous. Whenever we hear continuous, it means that the action or the verb action is long. Okay, so we use it to talk about long actions. Okay, started in the past. So started in the past because we're talking about present perfect continuous here. So we talk about actions that are long, started in the past, and without, of course, mentioning the date, and it is still happening in the present time. Okay, so started at the past without mentioning the date, and the action must go on in the present time. This is how we can use the present perfect continuous. To know more about it, let's see some examples now. Okay, example, we have been waiting for you since 12 o'clock. Okay, since is an indicator, is an adverb to use the present perfect continuous, referring to something happened in the past and it's still going on in the present time. Okay, we have been waiting for you since 12 o'clock. Okay, the second, I haven't been teaching English for 2 years. I haven't been teaching English for 2 years, which means I'm teaching English now, but I haven't been teaching English for 2 years. Okay, so this is an experience without mentioning the time, of course, and it's an experience that is long experience with a long verb, that is to teach, and to teach is a action verb. We have to use with it a continuous tense, and in this case I'm talking about the present continuous or the present perfect continuous to show an experience that happened in the past and still going on, of course, till now. Okay, I hope you got the lesson of today. And if you have any doubt about any vocabulary, could be grammar vocabulary or vocabulary in general about English, you just write down on the comments. And if you like the video, just show the like by clicking the like button. And if you of course want to see all of my videos, just try to subscribe to my channel. And till then, see you soon.